All right, everyone. So, welcome back to another amazing edition of our Friday night live stream. And we are going to talk some awesome comics with a wonderful expert. Been reading Star Wars comics since the 80s, basically since Marvel took over. Very excited to have him on the channel tonight. Please welcome A2R3 Retro. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing
Nice
good.
to be on here.
I'm so happy to have you. So I saw that you've seen the current the season finale of Mandolorian. What did you think?
Oh, tears of joy rolling down my face. I couldn't believe how that went. That was
So
Luke Skywalker, and everything was just amazing.
you know, it's amazing to hear that they've basically kind of saved a franchise.
Yeah.
Because pretty much, I mean, we were on the cusp of seeing Star Wars become this background noise in everything that was going on, because the sequels were just not well received. There was a lot that just didn't hit the mark, and it would have really been nice to have those sequels be perfect. It would have been amazing for those to go somewhere more, but I feel like they just fell flat.
Yeah. The last three movies did fall flat for sure. Force Awakens made me excited, but then The Last Jedi just kind of ruined that really bad.
I have to say I love the way that they sent Luke off in The Last Jedi, but it just wasn't what I needed it to be as a Star Wars movie. And my wife walked out of it saying that she liked it. And I said to her, I was like, I can't get behind it. I don't know what it is. There's something about it.
Yeah.
It's that X factor that just, there was too much going on in too short of a time span. And it's like they wanted this to be a Disney Plus edition, and it just couldn't be because it's a movie, not a show. But Mandalorian saved it.
Yes.
Everyone talks about the child, but I mean, the child's really a background noise to everything that's kind of going on. In my mind, with the Mandalorian really playing that main role. And I mean, each installment felt like a short movie in of itself.
Sorry about that.
All good. So I also want to welcome.
Yeah, no, the Mandalorian, definitely. Yeah.
This is Mark from Legion of Comics, and then we've got A2R3 Retro. We're talking Star Wars right now, the Mandalorian season finale.
How are you doing, man? Good to meet you.
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Sounds like you got a lot going on over there, Mark.
Yeah, the kids. A lot. It's Christmas time.
There you go. Put them to bed already.
The 9-month-old is riding around on a car playing bumper cars with her just now 3-year-old brother. This is that last little if y'all have, Chris, I know you get this, that last little energy spike before the crash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're getting ready to tuck her up on the couch and watch Christmas movies.
Definitely.
There you go.
That's why it took me a minute.
So, Mark, what did you think of the season finale?
Are we giving spoilers?
I'm good with spoilers.
Okay, dude, it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah.
First off, the Dark Troopers were like freaking T-800s. Like, that was like just watching Terminators go at it. That was fantastic. The team up was great. I would love to have seen Boba Fett a little more in it, but he played his part perfectly. And as soon as he was clear to dip, he kicked some butt and then just dipped in true Boba fashion. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps right now. The hair on my arm standing up, just thinking about the X-Wing pulling in.
Did you watch the end credits?
Oh, absolutely.
The end credits.
Absolutely. I missed nothing.
With the Boba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he went back to Tatooine and took over Jabba's palace. Yeah. And I was just talking to was talking to this guy that I know, and he asked me what I thought that they were going to do going forward, and I said, well, that's clearly just some familiar ground to him, and he just took over a crime syndicate, so I don't think he's going to try to clean up the galaxy. So I'm excited to see him continue to be an outlaw, because Mando over the first episode of season 1 to now has really sharpened up the directive and the storyline that they go with him. He's a very honorable person. He's not even just straight bounty hunting anymore. He's kind of unintentionally been helping the rebellion just because the Empire is crossing him unintentionally. Like their path and his cross, and that's not a good place to be. But Luke Skywalker did it for me. That absolutely did it for me. As soon as I saw the X-Wing coming up, when they made the comment that when he gets on the Seeing Stone and Grogu calls out, someone might answer. I was thinking the best thing that I could is I would have introduced Mace. I would have revealed that he wasn't dead from the fall because he didn't. We never saw a dead body. We saw a living person fly out a window. And we know that Grogu
anything until there's a funeral.
Yeah, and that doesn't even count. Ask Mr. Fantastic. Ask Superman. Yep. Unless you're Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, it's true for no one. But I was hoping that Mace.
3 people stay dead in comics.
Yeah, and that's just for now.
Yeah.
But I was hoping Mace would be the one that spirited him away from the Jedi Council, because we know that he was spirited away. And so it has to be someone that we haven't accounted for. We can account for everyone we know, Obi-Wan, Yoda, all the big names. We can account for all of them. And it wasn't them. So it has to be someone that we haven't seen but existed inside that timeline. So I'm thinking Mace is a prime candidate for that. But when he showed up and I saw they were trying to do the slow reveal, as soon as I saw the black glove, I just screamed. And I saw that green lightsaber. It was like just a little tease, a little tease, a little tease. And then when I saw the other hand, me and my wife both were going nuts, man. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Total fanboy moment.
It was fantastic.
It's amazing to see that they've kind of brought Mandalorian full circle. When he sent in the Dark Troopers in the last episode, I was like, okay, they're not screwing around right now. This is going to be something that is truly above and beyond a finale of just epic proportions.
I was kind of wanting to.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were level 3 Dark Troopers, and they were just robots. Because in the Legends, they were actually like exoskeleton suits.
Yeah.
And they just went ahead and made them just. But I was happy. I couldn't be happier with that.
See, I thought they were going to go with some kind of clone exosuit mix-up because of how we saw the base that they rated earlier with the cloning experiments. I thought that was kind of, and that was the same episode that they first teased the Dark Troopers. So I thought they were going to have a little bit of mix in there.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
I think they were going. Yeah.
We saw Dark Troopers in Rogue One, didn't we? Those were Dark Troopers too.
When?
On the beach? Were they Dark Troopers or were they different?
No, those were the Stormtroopers in black outfits.
No, those were Death Troopers.
Death Troopers, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, they were like, yeah. But yeah, I thought Moff Gideon was gonna put on the exoskeleton suit and fight Mando, but I'm definitely wrong about that. Because I thought that they were like level 2s that he had there, but he had a level 3, which was an exo suit, but it didn't. No, they just made it the robot, which was great.
Yeah. I was wanting to see the start of Moff Gideon and Mando play a little differently, because as soon as Moff Gideon made that comment to him, like, take the kid, but you leave after that. And Mando didn't say anything, and he started walking to the kid. So even though they didn't play it that way, you see where he didn't make that deal, because he was going to swing first if Moff didn't. But I would have liked to see him swing first anyways. Yeah. I'm a Han shot first kind of guy. I like my Star Wars heroes to take off first. You know what I mean?
For sure. It's always Han shot first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like the look on Bo-Katan's face when she saw Mando with the Darksaber.
Yeah, she broke. You could just see it.
She looked really, she did. So he's the leader of Mandalore.
I wasn't
now.
looking.
That's what they're going to play it as, huh?
I don't know. I don't see his from a story writing perspective. I don't see too much too much. Like I don't see as much easy potential to just stick him on Mandalore and let problems come to him. It would still require him leaving, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easy. He just walk up and slap Bo-Katan in the face just out of left field and just let her hit him back and drop. You won. I mean, is it supposed to be a fight to the death between them? They didn't specify if it's a fight to the death.
It's not.
It's always a fight to the
physically
death
a
in Star Wars.
fight to the death. They just need to. It has to be an actual fight. But they need to. You don't have to kill the person. They can just yield. But there still has to be a fight.
Yeah.
Wow is one of the only words I was able to use as well.
Yeah. Only because there weren't actual better words for it. You know?
Yeah, honestly. And
I was very impressed with it.
The only other better words I could have used were some expletives that I won't use here.
Or dang. Yeah.
So where do you think they're going to go with all of this? What's going to be season 3? What's going to be the rest of this? All these stories they just...
I figure they'll go to Mandalore.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see them go back to Mandalore.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen it since flashbacks in the first
remnant
season.
from Mandalore.
Mhm.
What's that?
I always loved the Death Trooper, or not the Death Trooper, the Death Watch Clone Wars episodes. Those were some of the best story arcs.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they had Mandalore on the Clone Wars, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's what kind of excited me about seeing Mandalorian being this next big thing with Star Wars was, are we going to go back to Mandalore? Is that going to be a new stepping stone? What do you guys think?
I would think that would be fantastic.
They were really straightforward.
I mean,
like with the end of season 1, and this one they were so vague with the ending. Yeah.
For sure.
I can't really call it.
Yeah.
I hope that we get and I'm kind of assuming just because I can't imagine them having this show without Baby Yoda as a big part of it, even though that was like a very emotional, well done parting of ways. He's just synonymous with Mando at this point. So they can either play that time gap, you know, between seasons and have him already rectified the whole throne matter and let Mandalore be a place that he can come back and forth to when need be and kind of keep those characters in just as like fan favorites, and he can get Baby Yoda or Grogu back, or either they can just kind of dual story it and you can watch all that play out and hopefully get more Luke Skywalker in there and see him get trained up a little bit.
For sure. And I mean, I think any way they play it, I think they have to continue on this Baby Yoda Grogu train.
Dude, that's a cash cow.
Oh, for sure. As soon as they announced that, I mean, Jesus, how many toys have you seen this Christmas that are Baby Yoda, Grogu, the child? Like, honestly, one of the biggest things that I was actually very shocked about was that they were able to keep the name of Baby Yoda under wraps for so long. Like, typically with these big movies, toys,
that was amazing.
The toys let it out. I don't know how many times we've seen a big spoiler just because they released a bunch of toys too soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
did really good, but it took me a minute to get used to that name, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen any actual merchandise with Grogu on it yet. I mean, I've seen every twice a week when I go to my comic shop. There's just the child stuff everywhere, all over the place. But I don't know. From the sound of the name Grogu, they just let Rosario Dawson name the kid while filming on a whim. Like, you come up with a name and you deliver it when we're filming. That doesn't sound very thought out.
Pass point. Does it actually say Grogu?
Yeah,
on the
they
cover?
had it planned from the beginning, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen any merchandise with the name Grogu yet, so it's just the child. And that's all they've released so far.
That's all I've been seeing is the child
But
and Baby Yoda on some no-name stuff.
Who's
Yeah.
cooler, Mando or Boba Fett?
You'll see Boba Fett for me, man. It's just I have to stick to it.
Yes. Thank you. I was having
Honestly,
that discussion with that last.
I mean, the
episode.
Mandalorian, I love him, but Boba Fett, yeah.
Boba Fett is just so. We finally got to see Boba Fett in his glory. We never got to see much of Jango in his glory.
Yeah.
We never got to see much of Boba in his glory. Finally, we're seeing this Boba Fett who is keeping up. And, I mean, he's old as can be. He's got to be, what, 50, 60 in The Mandalorian?
Around there.
I think he was 13 in the Clone Wars.
Okay. So 40.
This takes place
That's
about
30.
in this like 10 years after Return of the Jedi.
He's about 50 or so.
Yeah, I think it's 10 years.
The character's age matches the actor's age pretty close for how he looks. But my thing is like, Boba Fett's reputation has always preceded him. You never, like Chris was saying, you only saw him.
Yeah.
His presence, what's so cool about him. Then the expanded mythos with the books and everything, like the novels and all that, is the only place you could really get into anything. But Jango was awesome to me. Like for that little bit of time we saw him, I thought Jango was so cool because let's not forget he beat the crap out of Obi-Wan. Yeah. Like he completely took Obi-Wan in that fight. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like Mace Windu had no problem with him, but I mean he wasn't working with all of his tools at the time. And Mace Windu, I mean, I would say he didn't get a purple lightsaber for nothing, but it's because he's Sam Jackson. But you know that Mace Windu is supposed to be a bad dude, and that's how we got that represented. But seeing Mando just pinned down, just nothing able to do, and Boba just lands and just flawlessly wipes everyone out. Just takes them out. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Honestly,
I was so happy. This whole last season just blew me away.
Oh, for sure. As soon as we got the Boba Fett teaser at the very beginning with just the armor, not even like the reveal.
We were gonna get that.
The teaser at the end of season 1 when the spurred boot stepped down, I flipped out. I'm like, yes. That's the way they ended season 1 with his boot.
Though, I really wanted it to be Boba Fett, and it turned out to be, but I knew it was Cobb. I thought it was Cobb Vanth actually, but then I never really thought why he would take his boots. So yeah, that I had that part wrong, but I knew that was Cobb Vanth wearing the armor. Yeah. But
I wonder if they'll get into
part
it
from episode 1.
I wonder if they're going to get into it in Boba's series. I forget what they said the name of it, the Book of Boba or something, the Book of Fett.
Something like that. And I mean,
the book, the book of
And I'm wondering if they're going to get into it, like going from Sarlacc.
It's a whole other
getting
year.
His armor back. Yeah, but I'm still thinking that in my mind, like just playing it out in my head. When he got out of the Sarlacc pit, I'm assuming that they're going to let like a crate dragon be something that killed the Sarlacc, or he was able just to get out. We saw Mando fly out of the crate dragon, so that lets us know the armor holds up. They've got tools to leave. You saw him come out with electricity burst around him, so they gave us enough information to know that it is doable. It's not a death sentence. But I'm thinking, obviously, because of scars, he was probably damaged. And if you're on Tatooine, who's going to come across you? If you're laying there damaged, half dead, someone is. Jawas. Jawas are going to show up and scavenge the heck out of you. And what are you going to give them when you have nothing but what's on your person to pay for their help? His armor. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that it was just all Jawa transactions, because then they'll sell it down the road for something else. And there you go.
I mean, that was basically what season 1 we saw Mandalorian kind of go through that same exact thing with the Jawas.
Yeah, I mean they pop up all the time. Mm-hmm. They go back to episode 4. Like that's how C3 and R2 get to Luke to begin with.
For sure.
Uncle Owen, this one's busted.
Yeah.
And seeing the coolest astro droid on this side of the galaxy show up, man, that was amazing. Just watching R2 roll up. And it was cool that R2's presence kind of just gave Baby Yoda the calming sense,
So
yeah, like a toy.
Yes. Yes, he loves that little shiny ball, and here comes a giant shiny object. Like
There you go.
besties, new besties.
So another thing that I
Yeah.
saw
I was
recently,
really excited about Luke, but when R2 came, that was
Yeah.
amazing.
another thing I saw recently was that Anakin might have been the one that saved Grogu from Order 66.
Yeah, not believing that.
But it was so basically who could Grogu's lineage be? And the way that Ahsoka says Yoda in, I think it was 2 episodes ago of Mandalorian, he kind of notices the name and like looks down like, oh my God, I know who that is. Could that be his father? Or is it just someone that he knows from the temple?
For Yoda to father
The
to
time
child
period-
at the prequel age range is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they also, if their species is like close to extinction or low in count, even as a Jedi Master, they will allow you on the council to procreate.
Okay.
So
Which
maybe
is
Yoda was able to procreate with Yaddle because their species was as a low number.
which is definitely interesting because I feel like one of the new shows that kind of will get into like that Jedi vibe is Ahsoka. I mean, the fact that we got her was phenomenal. And now that she's getting her own show, I'm not a huge fan of that actress being a lead. She's always kind of been a supporting actress, like in Daredevil and Luke Cage, and I love her in that show. She's a phenomenal actress. It's going to be a very interesting transition for her as an actress to go into something new like that, into that role, I guess.
But I think, do you think they'll bring Ezra and everybody back for the Ahsoka series?
I'm not sure how they're going to play it. I don't know if
Because they
it's going to
mentioned
be
Thrawn and she's looking for Thrawn. So I was wondering if they're going to continue her search for Ezra with Sabine.
Yeah.
Because I believe that end credit in Rebels was after Mandalorian.
Okay. As soon as they mentioned Thrawn and Mando, I was over the moon. My dad, who's a huge Star Wars fan, I mean, he grew up on it, him and his brother, and he had said that he didn't really know a lot about Thrawn, and then I got him the book, and he was just in love with the book. He wants to see Thrawn in something so much bigger.
It's great. Oh, yeah.
So
Me
Diane
too. I
says,
definitely want to see them bring Thrawn in.
Yeah. Diane says that she was thrilled to see Luke and R2-D2, tears in my eyes. I don't know anyone who would have had a dry eye if that was a movie theater. It would have been like Cap holding the hammer.
I was holding it together, and then R2 took the corner.
There was a Logan dying, Cap holding the hammer moment. But you know, it's what's up, Ryan? It's one of those things where, like I said at the beginning, it saves the franchise. It brings about this whole new level for Star Wars. And I feel like Disney Plus is really going to save and help Star Wars become what it truly should be, which is more series-based than these episode-based where they're trying to fit in a bunch of stuff. Because everyone I've ever talked to who loves Star Wars loves the books. They're book-based. They're not as much movie-based as they are book-based, because in a book, you can learn so much more than these movies. And like my dad has always said, the prequel movies never did Star Wars justice. Like, there's so much more out there. And Mark, give me that look all you want, but he's also coming from seeing it as a 40-year-old guy. So.
Yeah, I was a youngster coming up. The way he sees the prequels, I see the sequels, so I get it.
Yeah.
But just some of I think I was just like awestruck by some of the revelations and the piecing together the plot that we got with the prequels, with like all the all the stormtroopers being cloned still, which is so obvious because, in episode 4, Obi-Wan first talks about the Clone Wars when he's talking to Luke, and then actually getting to see Clone Wars stuff, like the start of the Clone War, getting to see what the prequels have going for them is you see actual Jedi lightsaber battles, which we still have never seen since the prequels. Hasn't happened. Actual Jedi lightsaber battles. They set a bar so high that for some reason no one's even gotten near. It doesn't make sense. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Why haven't we?
And see, that's one of the biggest things. When they dropped all of these Star Wars Disney Plus shows, they didn't do anything with Old Republic. And I was really hoping that there was going to be an Old Republic show or movie or something coming up soon. There's so much stuff to explore there. They could get into.
Where do you think they're going to take the Lando story?
That's another interesting question. I'm not
to Cloud City.
You think so?
I'm not too up on Lando. I like him as a character, but I mean, I always just kind of thought that he was a placeholder for Han. He was just like this guy that Han got the Millennium Falcon from and whatnot.
Yeah. No,
I
like
never thought of him as a main character.
Really deep with Luke, just because like in the Rise of, what was it? Was it the Rise of Skywalker? Yeah, where they met Lando, and he was telling the story how they went to together with Luke searching. They did that a lot. They went all over looking for a lot of different things, but I don't think that's going to be the Lando show. I think it's probably going to take earlier. Are they using that character from Solo for the Lando?
The same actor, isn't it? Donald Glover?
I really hope so. I love him as an actor.
Oh, Childish Gambino.
Yes.
It might be his shenanigan rise up to the Cloud City, so we'll see.
Yeah. Which would be what it needs to be. I mean, they need to go old school with Star Wars now. I'm tired of seeing this. Let's just progress the story. Let's talk more about Star Wars. Let's see what was going on during all of this, because I feel like that was what made the prequels wonderful, because we got to see the intergalactic issues that were truly going on during the Clone Wars, and why the Clone Wars happened, and why Palpatine was able to basically go under the radar for so long. I mean, no one saw any of that coming watching the movies, it was obvious as could be.
With all these new shows, with the Mandalorian going on, with the new Boba Fett, with the Ahsoka show, with the Lando show, it looks like they're trying to genre build inside of the Star Wars universe. So you have you have the Jedi show with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. You've got the Mandalorian show, who's just this honorable, straightforward, basically knight in shining armor. You've got the Lando show, which is the smuggling aspect that could easily tie in with the Boba Fett stuff and series cross. So it looks like they're trying to find where their viewership's going to fall. So they're just kind of throwing in all these little micro genres inside of this bigger universe to see what hits and what doesn't. So I'm fairly certain that all of these are not going to just maintain forever. Kind of like with the Marvel announcements, Loki, for example, is just meant to be a little mini series, just to tie up a little loose thread. So I think some of this stuff is going to be the same way.
Yeah, I completely agree. Past point. Jon Favreau there's nothing that this man has touched in the past 10 years of Marvel and Disney that has not been amazing.
Oh, you hadn't seen Iron Man 2?
Well, okay.
I enjoyed it, but
I enjoyed Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I did too.
I enjoyed every single Iron Man movie.
Enjoyed it. Yep.
I think the only thing I would have done differently with all of that movie was just have the final battle last longer. Just don't end. Just keep going.
Yeah. Honestly, again, Disney Plus is going to open up a ton of stuff for allowing movies to be much longer than what they could have been. And I'll keep going back to Falcon Winter Soldier. The people who are filming it have said, we have never filmed a TV show like this before, because they're filming it like a movie. They're going from one scene to the next, and it's all tying into each other. Usually with a TV show, you do an episode, you're done. You do another episode, it's done. They're not doing that. And I mean, with Mandalorian, that shows.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian is tying together like no other TV show has ever been able to.
It kind of sounds like the way that Peter Jackson or Richard Donner would film something.
I was not upset with anything of this.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of like when
What do you think about the
Snyder,
Obi-Wan bringing actually Hayden Christensen in?
I think that's going to be interesting. I love.
Yeah.
See, I'm one of those few people who actually liked Anakin in the prequels. I thought that's who Anakin was. I wish the Anakin was more like the Clone Wars animated show Anakin, where he was a little bit less whiny and a little bit more take charge. But I mean, again, that's writing.
Yeah.
That's not so much the actor himself. I feel like Hayden Christensen played Anakin as well as he possibly could for the writing.
The Clone Wars series also takes place in like the peak pinnacle of his life, though. You know what I mean? That's the most refined as a Jedi and controlled he ever was. You know, you have episode 2 where he's quite literally a whiny teenager who's conflicted. That's what you get. And by episode 3, he's quite literally a broken, split man between two paths. So I think it was just weird when we only get in the theater, we only get, with the exception of the Clone Wars movie, we only get the 2 worst parts of his career. That's all we were given. So with the Clone Wars show, you actually see they put in the Clone Wars show gives more weight to that split in episode 3. Otherwise, it just looks like he had a whiny, complaining life his whole time, but he didn't. That's just that's just timeline wise.
I've always said if you're going to talk about the prequels, you have to include the Star Wars show in there, because without that you're missing. Well, yeah, without that you're missing so much. And I mean, even the last season of Clone Wars, the way that they took Ahsoka in that was just amazing. I loved every second of that, and I did not want it to end. And then when my buddy said, "Well, you need to go watch Rebels if you want to see more Ahsoka," I was all game for it.
I haven't watched Rebels yet.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's more childish than Clone Wars was.
But the stories are fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm a Power Ranger fan, so I'm okay with that concept. I can trudge through childish to get the story.
Episode. I don't want to ruin nothing. I ain't gonna tell you nothing about Rebels if you haven't seen it.
Oh, you can go ahead.
The Twin Sons episode was probably my favorite.
Who are the Twin Sons?
The Twin Sons of Tatooine. It's the title of the episode.
Oh, okay.
It's just called the Twin Sons. They're referring to the 2 sons of Tatooine, but it deals with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's in Rebels. That's as much as I'm gonna tell you. I want you to see it.
Yeah. And that's one of those things is like Star Wars. I've always felt that the Star Wars TV shows are so much better than any of the movies because they allow themselves to dive into these long story arcs and really just address everything that's going on inside of them.
Did y'all ever watch these?
No.
Yes. These micro series were insane.
Yep. Those were phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's why I was so excited that we're getting a Bad Batch TV show. Like,
definitely.
Like, Bad Batch was just so legit. It was amazing to see them really go for it with Clone Wars. And now the fact that we're going to get a TV show about that is, I'm geeking out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I love the whole how 5s got taken.
Everything that Star Wars that they put out for Disney Plus is live action for Star Wars.
That I noticed.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the announcements.
I didn't see anything about animated, but I mean, not like they would ruin it. I mean, it's pretty much like DC animated films the best stuff
Is
they're putting
Droid's
out.
supposed to be animated?
Oh yeah, Droids is animated. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like droids can be animated though, because
Yeah.
you really want to see a bunch
They're
of
animated
robots.
anyways.
Yeah, like CGI robots walking around in real life. Come on.
Bunch of painted trash cans all day long, just moving.
That would be funny to watch. I mean,
I would watch it.
Yeah, I always wanted.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
Yeah, I got to hear what they're.
see-
I have to hear what they're bleep blooping. I don't want to miss any of the dialogue.
I wish Disney Plus was around when Thor and Captain America first came to like the real world of 2012, and just seen a TV show that they were always joking around about, of them just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Steve trying to understand 70 years later, Thor trying to understand what was going on in the world and why all of this was happening. I mean, he couldn't even really understand anything in Thor 1, but I have always felt like that would just be hilarious to watch. And if they ever had Chris Evans come back as Captain America, that would be the show to make for him.
Well, with some of the stuff they're about to be dipping into, going heavy with time travel, there's your loophole to bring anyone back at any point.
Yeah. So moving into the MCU, what do you guys think of Black Panther?
First off, that was a smooth segue. I like that. What specifically about Black Panther?
So who do you think is going to take up the mantle? Is Killmonger gonna come back?
I think Shuri is going to take up the mantle.
You think so? So
Yeah.
I've heard her. I've heard they're gonna bring the Killmonger was never actually dead, that they saved him. And then I've also heard I can't think of his name, but the one who challenged T'Challa at the very beginning of the movie.
From the ape tribe?
Yeah. That he
Yeah, I
was going
remember.
to take up the mantle, because I guess in the comics he had. I'm not huge into Black Panther lore, but
I
honestly,
think last weekend when we were talking, there's a good point made. Like, he got thrown into the water, so we know Namor's getting brought into the MCU movies, and he was supposed to be attached for the Black Panther stuff somehow. That would have been an easy way to do it. All rivers flow to the ocean.
Yep.
So Killmonger could have easily popped up.
And I mean, there's so many ways that they could bring Killmonger back with Infinity Stones. They could literally just retcon it and say, actually, he never died. We threw him in and then saved him because we knew that we could need him someday, and that he truly had a heart of gold, but he just had a rough childhood.
He had the same juice flowing in him that T'Challa did. Their little herbal super soldier serum, But who knows? I think that Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor and could fill the suit perfectly well. But I do believe that they're going to go with Shuri. It's not what I would choose, but I think that's the direction they'll end up going with.
I think they'll do it solely to have a female Black Panther.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a fan service thing than it is anything else.
I think it's a swing and a miss to fan service. I think that's what they think is the fan service, but it's unintentionally not a fan service.
Yeah.
I think it's a smaller majority of people that would want that. I mean, it'd be nice. It wouldn't hurt to see, like, temporarily or something, or as part of something bigger. But yeah, M'Baku, there's the guy from the Gorilla Tribe. But I think that a lot of the stuff with The Mandalorian just did fan service. J.J. Abrams, in an attempt to correct a horrible trilogy of movies, pumped so much fan service into one movie. It wasn't even like a fluid movie anymore. It was just a let's scream about this excited individual scene. But I don't think her taking over as a permanent Black Panther that's the opposite of fan service.
Oh, and I mean solely fan service for gender bending a character to cash out on it.
And I agree with not recasting T'Challa, but you know, T'Challa wasn't the only Black Panther. You know, his dad was Black Panther before him,
Yep.
and you know, as Killmonger, he's royalty. It would fit perfectly.
Oh, for sure. And there was also talk of actually having 2 Black Panthers at the same time. And that, from what I'm understanding, Shuri would kind of play the political Black Panther role, and then Killmonger would play the warrior Black Panther role. So you would
have a kitty litter.
You would have these 2 sides going on, so that Killmonger can play to his strengths of being this fantastic warrior who's trained his whole life to basically be the Black Panther and the best that there ever was. And then you have Shuri, who is the technology side of everything, and then kind of taking over for her brother as queen of Wakanda.
She also has the heart that he doesn't have, so there's a cool hot and cold dynamic there.
Yeah,
where both of them individually are not the full package, but together they can really accent each other's defects really well.
for sure. And I mean, with how they kind of left off Black Panther, just the first movie, not even talking about Infinity War or anything else that he was in, just that they were willing to open themselves up and to completely have a culture change like that practically allowed you to see that they're kind of mentally ready to have this new idea of what the Black Panther could be and should be. Female Black Panther, yes, but I hope it isn't Shuri. I think she is too good a character on her own. I agree with you, Ryan. Honestly, again, I think that if she is a Black Panther or the Black Panther, she's going to kind of be lost. All of her strengths are going to be lost. She's going to be something that she's not. And I mean, that comic book series, Shuri, with her name on it, was all about her being herself. And I think that if she loses that in the movies, we're going to lose an amazing character that they were grooming to be something so much more than just the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, again, agreed. It's a mantle, a title, a service. It can be anyone. Maybe they'll make the white guy the next Black Panther. Who knows?
Oh, the FBI guy?
Yeah, the FBI agent.
What was that, Frodo? No, that was Bilbo Baggins. Yeah. Bilbo Panther.
There you go, right? I also could see it being an M'Baku. I mean, he almost had T'Challa beat. When it came down to fighting skill between T'Challa versus M'Baku and T'Challa versus Killmonger, I honestly think I was kind of rooting for M'Baku a little bit more than I was Killmonger, just because I thought the fight was much better.
Killmonger beat the crap out of him.
But it was more revenge based. It wasn't heart. And I think
it was skill based is what it was.
Yeah.
That dude is skilled.
That too.
He's a trained killer. And I think that T'Challa only took him at the end of the movie because with those beefed up abilities, T'Challa's more used to wearing that, where Killmonger isn't. You know, like, I don't know if y'all saw John Carter movie, but when he first got to Mars and he tried to walk, he was just flying through the air and falling. You got to adjust to stuff like that.
True.
Or when Superman came into his powers, it was overwhelming. You know, Killmonger hasn't been wearing those abilities for that long. T'Challa has. So there's all kinds of ways you could write into that. But
that's a really
when it came down to it, when it was just mano a mano, Killmonger walked the dog with him.
So Ryan's saying that he hopes it's a whole new female character, kind of the way that they did Killmonger. That would be interesting. Someone tied to Wakanda, but not a Wakandan. Dr. Watson. That would be an interesting way to play it. I don't know if they'll do that.
We're back to the FBI agent.
I don't know if they'll do that solely because the biggest point of Black Panther and the biggest success of Black Panther was it being an entirely African movie. I think to take that out of it because Chadwick Boseman died would take away from some of the lore of the story. It was kind of like a very nice way of putting. It was a nice way to put a reverse racism spin on a movie, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I really don't care where they go with Black Panther because I know they're going to do it well. I know they're going to do it justice. I want them to make sure that they do right by Chadwick Boseman.
I think they got the writers have a difficult road ahead of them.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. How are you going to write this character out? Because you can't just kill him. You can't just say he never existed. You can't, like, there's got to be some next level event that makes it so that he's not able to be the Black Panther. And I don't know that you could do that without I don't know that you could do that without having something that happens before Wakanda, before Black Panther 2. So Ryan's saying that introducing an outsider as Black Panther would be a way to progress the society. That would be an interesting way to play it. But again, they have to write it to the point where they're doing justice by T'Challa. And that's my biggest thing. I mean, I'm not a Hollywood writer. I'm not getting paid big bucks to figure that out. And I'm not so keen on like the comic book mythos that of why Shuri took over the mantle in the first place, or even Killmonger or anyone who became Black Panther after T'Challa. But you got to do it right. That's going to be the hardest part, is to do it correctly.
Person in the comments said have Jon Favreau work on Black Panther. He'll figure it out. And if he doesn't, he'll at least make it look good.
There you go. Maybe we need another Iron Man too.
Yeah.
One that people just don't enjoy, but it's necessary.
What I'm excited most about with upcoming Marvel stuff is the Eternals.
Let's talk Eternals. I'm totally game for that.
There's really nothing to talk about other than knowing it's coming. That's all we really got.
Have they mentioned anything about a villain for that yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's been nothing concrete about that movie. Again, a way that Disney has truly been able to keep stuff under wraps, like the Grogu stuff. I mean,
dude, I don't know if they even really got it that far out yet, man.
Aren't they a year away?
I don't have a clue at this point. I don't think there's really a way to timestamp anything they're doing, because just saying it like that, didn't Black Widow come out a year ago? You know, like with COVID and everything, you know, there's how much are they really able to work on beyond just like writing and stuff like that, and concept art and everything.
So as of right now, Eternals is coming out in 2 months.
Oh, that's exciting.
2 months.
Can't wait.
But
I think when Jack Kirby gets to write on cosmic scale stuff, it is fantastic. Like a huge Fourth World fan with the New Gods. You know, after that wrapped up and he went back to Marvel, that was the first thing he did was the Eternals, which is basically his own rip on the Fourth World characters, but in the Marvel universe. And it's just really cool stuff. I'm hoping to see celestial level stuff. I love cosmic level comic events, and they're just really
Definitely.
fun. And you get so much more to play with. You know, you're not restricted to Earth. You're not restricted to these human-esque characters, and you know, you can just introduce so much.
That's why I was so excited for the Green Lantern movie because it was going to be cosmic. And
whoops,
yeah,
that was writers and poor directing. Martin Campbell just really destroyed that.
How do you have Ryan Reynolds in a movie and it not do well? I mean,
I don't know. Ask the people who made BPRD.
So I was
which
wrong.
I love, by the way, but it did horrible.
They've updated the release date to a little under a year from now, so November 5th of next year.
And you can almost bet that that's going to get pushed back because we're not off COVID restrictions.
Yep.
You know, like until COVID is lifted, everything that is scheduled for anything in my mind is up in the air, which I'm okay with. I think that we need to definitely err on the side of caution. You know, this kind of stuff is awesome to have, but it can wait. Get out what you can, however you can, but it's not worth risking anything.
$300 in your pocket. Would you go see Wonder Woman in theaters, or would you just watch it on HBO Max?
Well, being that it's releasing on Christmas Day and I have to work Christmas Day, I'm watching it at home on my giant Samsung 4K TV. I want to enjoy every minute of it. Probably rewatch it immediately.
So,
I'm here in the South. You know what I mean? We're really, really spread out. You know, I live in a decent sized city in the South, and you know, down here people are really split on the matter. So the stuff that is open, which is everything, is just not nearly as busy as it is, and the theaters that are open are doing restrictions as well. There's not people that aren't in a group together sitting by each other. There's extensive cleaning between stuff. They're not rolling as many show times, and so there's precautions being taken to the best that you can, like without shutting stuff down.
Yeah.
But I me personally, based off where I live, because I think there's no straightforward yes or no to any of this. It's really based off where you live. How's your area affected? How are they handling the situation? Sure. Where I live, I don't think it would be. You'd be running a bigger risk going to the grocery store tenfold than you would be going to see a movie where only you have been in there since the last one other person that they clean between. You know, you can't go to the grocery store and Walmart are the two most dangerous places where I live, because you don't know what everyone's picked up and touched. It's the most busiest place. It's packed in there, and everything else. A lot of stuff isn't open, so it's funneling more people to those places.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason why I asked that question, and A2 or 3, I'm not sure what your thoughts on Wonder Woman are, but my neighbors, who are very good friends of ours, were like, we're going to rent out a movie theater on the day after Christmas, and we're going to go see Wonder Woman. And I said, let's do it. You know, like, if we're splitting, I think we can have 20 people in there. So if we're splitting that $300 a few ways and we're bringing in our own snacks, I mean, it's basically the cost of going to a movie anyways.
And we've been able to do that here for a while
too. To watch it by myself in the theater.
Yeah, in all honesty, that'd be a fun experience. Yeah. And the theaters here doing that, like even with that, when we didn't have new movies rolling, they would have the 20-person limit, and they had a laundry list of awesome movies. And we were going to go see the Christopher Reeve Superman movie and rent it out, but it was only $100 for like the older stock movies. You know, you had a couple of past MCU movies. You have like Jaws, Indiana Jones, Superman, the Michael Keaton Batman. So stuff that came out shortly before I was born they're just iconic for me. Like I got the Superman 2 movie poster. Like I would kill to see Superman the movie on the big screen. Like that's just
for sure.
That's amazing.
Well, I was a teen when all them movies came out. I'm a huge fan of all that.
And I'm jealous of people who got to see all that.
Yeah, I got to live the 80s. It was pretty awesome.
I lived the last 3 years of the 80s, so I don't really remember much about them. I heard they were radical, though.
I saw they were something else. I saw Star Wars when I was 4, back in I saw it in '78 because I didn't get it when it first came out for that Christmas, or around the, '77. I got to see it in '78, but it blew my mind. It was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, and I'm stuck. Can't get out of it. But
I was
the
lucky.
80s were great. I got to see all the movies.
I was lucky enough to see every single Star Wars movie on the big screen because in the early '90s when Lucas remastered the original trilogy and added the 5 minutes of footage and cleaned up the special effects, they were all in theaters.
Yeah.
And we had a dollar theater here in town that was right by our house. So in summertime, that was an easy thing for my mom to do with me and my brothers to go to the dollar theater. So we saw every single one of the original trilogy more than once in theaters, just as killing time in summer stuff.
For sure. And I mean, that stuff is just, it's amazing to see those old school movies on the big screen. And I feel like no time has passed. We were watching that stuff all over again. I didn't get a chance to go to our local drive-in. It's about 40 minutes away, but they were playing old school stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Nothing as big as like Superman 2, but it was just, it would have been a really nice moment. They actually just closed, I think last weekend. So I'm up in Western New York, and it's been about 20 degrees here for the past week now.
Not the time to go to a drive-in and throw the top
3
back.
feet of snow up there, didn't you?
Here, no. A little bit south of here, I believe they did. We usually get lake effect off Lake Ontario, and we probably got a good 4 inches, I'd say, if that. But
well, Chris, I'm about to have to hop off here and get these kids in bed, man. I appreciate you having me on, and it was good meeting you, A2R3 Retro.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to talk Star Wars more often.
Yeah, most definitely, and thank you so much, man. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you here soon, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. And Retro, it was a pleasure to talk to you. I'm at my hour, so it's been awesome having you guys on tonight. I hope that we can do this every Friday. Obviously, next Friday we won't. It's Christmas. But the Friday after and a lot of next week I've got off because I'm a teacher. So we'll be talking. I'd love to get Ryan back on here and have a conversation with him.
Hit me up. I'll be there, man.
Sounds good. Have a good night, buddy.
Yeah. All right, nice.
Nice to meet you. All right, so there you have it. We've got 5 people still with us. So before I go, we are so close to 250. Help us get there. If someone you know subscribes and you tell me that you sent them a link and you send me proof and they subscribed after, I will give you a bonus entry into our giveaway. So this is just one of our giveaways that we're doing. This is Dark Knight's Death Metal number 3. I am very excited for this. I would love to give this to a great home, someone who really can enjoy it. It's a Perillo variant cover, Wonder Woman sitting on that wonderful motorcycle, just looking absolutely amazing in that Dark Knight's Death Metal book. Past Point, thank you for showing up, and we love having our first-time guests with us. It was awesome to have A2R3 Retro on here. And also it was amazing to have Legion of Comics. That's my death metal. Legion says, of course it is, buddy. Always a pleasure to have you guys watching. It's always a pleasure to see new people join. So like Diane, I've never seen you on here before. Thank you so much for joining us. Legion and A2, thank you for being live with us. Ryan, I hope to get you on again in 2 weeks when we start back up again after the holidays. And one more thing. So I'm going to be doing a random giveaway every 6 wonderful videos that we do live stream. So I'm going to roll a dice at the beginning of those 6. If it happens on the first one, maybe we'll even reset it. I doubt that it will, 1 in 6 odds, but we would love to give some books to some good homes, really support you guys, give out some fun giveaway prizes, and just bring in more people to watch. So again, our live streams are going to be every Friday, starting back up the Friday after Christmas. I think it's the 30th or 31st. Might even be the 1st. I'm not sure. I need to look at a calendar. But anyways, it will be amazing to have you guys on, and it will be wonderful to have you guys back. So yes, the next time I will see you will be the brand new year. So have a Merry Christmas, whether you're a rebel, Empire lover, what have you. Have a very Merry Christmas. I hope to talk to you very soon. You can always hit us up on Instagram. If you ever want to join us on a live stream, please let me know. The more the merrier. And as always, Hanukkah just ended, so happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa's coming up. Happy Kwanzaa. Yeah, past point. I actually wore this. My students absolutely loved it. They were little kindergartners. They found it really cool. I got a lot of compliments on it. It was red and green day. So I went all out with red, green, and then the Force. So I really hope that you guys enjoy, and we'll see you soon. As always, being a lounger means keeping it casual. So as you go find our 250 subscriber video and share it with all your friends and get us up to that magic number of 250, we cannot wait to give this to a good home. We also have another book. It's on that 250 subscriber video. I'm not going to say it here because I want you guys to go watch. And you never know. You might be a giveaway winner. How those giveaways are going to work, every 6 videos, we will be doing a excellent dice roll. Basically, anyone who's commented on the video during the live stream at the very end of that first hour, we will be giving away a book. Again, I'm just going to roll a dice that determines it. So you guys never know what book I might be giving away. It could be a favorite of mine. It could be something brand new. It could be a beautiful variant. It could even be something that is just out of this world. You never know what I might be giving away. So as always, keep it casual. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. See you later.